Welcome everyone to the New Fly Fisher. On today's show, we'll talk about the freshwater wolf, the pike. We'll discuss the equipment, the flies, and fishing the structure you need to target in order to be successful. It's going to be another great one, so don't go away.
Look at that fish. Very good fish.
Another fine, beautiful steelhead taking.
This is a good example of the family after Janae Day. This is why you need a lot of backing.
This week, the New Fly Fisher crew is going to try one of the more than 4,000 lakes that are in the Elliot Lake area. Listen as Brad Parsons, Assistant Economic Developer for the City of Elliot Lake, gives us a brief history of the area.
Elliot Lake was born about 55 years ago, back in the 50s, after a huge ore body of uranium was found in the area and mining began. The town's seen its boom and bust over the years, of course, reaching populations close to 30,000 at times. And of course, in 1992, with the collapse of all the mines, actually, with less demand for the uranium, and we saw the loss of 4,000 jobs, and unfortunately, the out-migration of all of our miners. So, thankfully, we've survived through a lot of good decisions and retirement living project, and here we are today.
The pike is a very effective predator and lives primarily on the flesh of other fish. This said, the pike is not adverse to eating the occasional frog or small amphibian or its own species. Completely motionless and quite invisible in its normal habitat, it lies in wait beneath a water plant or alongside a submerged tree stump for a likely meal to stumble into its area. Northern pike are spring spawners, and spawning takes place immediately after the ice melts and when water temperatures reach 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. In general, this species spawns during the daylight hours on heavily vegetated floodplains of rivers, marshes, and bays of larger lakes. The first setup that is being used today is a full sinking line with about 3 feet of monofilament leader attached to it. Attached to this leader is 8 inches of coated wire bite tippet and then the fly. The second setup that is used today is a clear intermediate line with 4 feet of 40-pound fluorocarbon tippet, and attached to that is the fly. Pike identify an approach of its prey by the use of its senses of sight and smell, combined with its lateral line and the receptor pores in its head. This will alert it to the direction and the speed of the approaching prey.
That feels like a lake trout or a big, big jack, I'll tell you. And he's angry. He's not happy. He's got so much fight in him. These northern pike in the cold water are so strong, they just don't want to come in. Look at that, he's 4 runs there. I think we got him tired out now. Should I put him in the net?
Yeah.
Come over here. He's not gonna like this, but he did. There we go. One nice fresh northern pike. There one.
Okay.
Okay. Let him go. There he goes.
Some tools you should have when you're pike fishing are a protective glove, a set of jaw spreaders, a heavy-duty set of pliers, and when possible, a boca grip. The rods needed for pike fishing should be stout. They should be in the 9-foot area and in the 8 to 9 weight class. This is needed for casting large and wind-resistant flies and for the sheer power of these fish. Large arbor reels are best as they allow you to pick up line faster. A smooth drag is needed to tire out the pike as soon as possible. When the pike is alerted to a potential prey, it will position itself for an ambush, and only when the unwary bait enters its field of attack, the pike will lunge forward. Relying on its sight and with lightning propulsion, the pike rarely misses its target. However, if the attack proves unsuccessful, the pike will not pursue its prey. It simply returns to its post and will wait for a new opportunity.
Sure nice on a fly rod. I really feel these pike. Much better than spinning.
Once hooked, your pike will do everything in its power to shed the hook, and quite often they succeed. Many people believe that a pike is incredibly hardy, but in fact they will go belly up very fast if not handled correctly. Once beaten, action is needed to avoid stressing the fish and inflicting any extra injury on the fish. When unhooking a pike, remember 2 golden rules. Never turn away from the pike for even a second, and keep your hands behind the jaws at all times. This will keep you safe.
Look at that, 5th run. They just really hammer it, and then they don't come
The Elliot Lake area provides other species of fish also. One of the largest species is the lake trout. Other species in the area are speckled trout, splake, rainbow trout, smallmouth bass, and walleye. Lakes like Dunlop and Quirk support lake trout, walleye, and smallmouth bass in abundance. Lake trout in the 20-pound range, walleye in the 12-pound range, and smallmouth bass up to 7 pounds have been caught in the area. Brook trout as big as 9 pounds have been caught, and pike weighing over 10 pounds are common.
You hammered that leech.
No, that's 10, 12-pound fish. Off the bottom. Looks like a shark. I see you're letting the rod and the reel do all the work.
Yeah. Well, these fish fight really differently than the pike. They cruise back and forth, and then they try to go really deep.
Took a big black leech, right?
Big black leech with a stinger hook on it. Big black leech.
About 10 or 12 pound lake trout, I'd say, Norm. Okay, you gonna net him? He's ready.
Not quite. still happy to. Oh, look at him. He's still got juice in him. I'm glad we tied these up last night. And they work. He doesn't want to come in yet, you know. He feels like he's got a reserve of power, eh? Like he could just play with me for a while, but I should try to get him in.
Okay.
I know.
It's a big fish.
Yeah. He's not tired yet. He's got power. Like I'm having trouble bringing him in.
No.
Flies for pike are generally minnow imitations such as deceivers and clouser minnows. Leeches are also effective along with woolly buggers. There's a saying, the bigger the fly, the bigger the fish. Here's a tying recipe for the fly of choice today, the deceiver. The hook is a Mustad S71S in sizes 3/0 through number 6. The thread is white 6/0 or 3/0. The tail, 6 to 8 neck or saddle hackles mixed with complementary colors of crystal flash. The body, which is optional, is pearl or silver poly braid. The wing, bucktail tied in 2 clumps along the sides of the hook. The top wing, bucktail. Topping, which is optional, is peacock pearl. The throat, red crystal flash or flashaboo, and the eyes are prism tape eyes.
8 inches long, got 2 hooks, and we were just going by the point there, out deep water. As soon as I hooked this guy, he went right out here to the center, deep water, which told me it was a lake trout. He just took a run, took me into my backing hook. He grabbed the tail. It had a lot of short strikes on my white zonkers that didn't have a tail. This is what did it. What a magnificent fish. That's probably about 7 pounds, maybe 8. I don't want to handle this guy. I don't want to hurt him. So, gently bring him in. Hooks. There he goes. So, this is what he took. Big, long, black leech, about 8 inches long. Stinger hook here is what he grabbed. I got lead at the top to help it get down.
Listen as Ontario top guide Ken Collins instructs us on the proper retrieve needed.
Wet reels, especially when you start seeing the type of retrieve and the way we're going to fish these, folks. So you end up soaking everything. Get the whole reel, everything wet. Make sure that the line is soaked right through, okay? And your hands are soaked. Very important, because otherwise Bill's going to get hurt hands. Now, what I want to show you about this fly that makes the whole difference in what catches fish is that's great sunlight over there, so I'm going to just do a demonstration of the action. The action is paramount. We want to get the serpentine S motion. So watch how we get that. See if you can see that. Whoa, we're sinking too fast. All right, let's see if I can do it right here. Come in right here.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can do it.
Really good.
I don't know if I can get, there's a little bit of the S. It doesn't show up as well unless you come across current though, so let's try this. See that little serpentine? See how it pauses and just, and does that wicked little arc?
Mm-hmm.
That is key. That arc, where it pauses, is where they're gonna slam it. And so how we get that action, Bill, is we put it out over there, and we strip real hard and then pause. Real hard and then pause. Real hard and then pause.
Okay.
Real hard and then pause. But keep your line right at it. The number one mistake that everybody's gonna make with this is when they hit it, is just gonna see this toilet ball flush. It's gonna be 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
You might see the attack coming, most of the time you won't.
You don't, yeah.
So it's just gonna be boom, the sky, the water's just gonna open up.
All right.
And now let's join Phil Rowley as he battles a massive northern pike.
Holy, I've got a really nice pike on here, and I'd like to say it was from a unique presentation and all thought out. I was actually changed flies to this big articulated mole, which stands for mother of all leeches. It's actually a steelhead pattern, a West Coast steelhead pattern. It's tied on a Dacron core, and I was just rabbit strip body, and I was just dabbling the fly in the shallows to get it wet before casting. And I did it once, twice, and the second time in water less than knee deep, this big pike just came out of nowhere and annihilated the fly. It scared the living tar out of me. And it's a good pike. We should put a scale on this and see how much it weighs. Get that, show people how to net way big fish. There we go. Holy smokes. That fish was in water this deep, 5 feet from the bank. So you don't have to cast far here to catch fish. Well, there's our fly here. It's just it's tied on the front section here is the shank, and this is all just cross-cut rabbit tied onto braided spectre braid and a little tiny up-eye octopus hook. So you get the advantage of a big fly, but not the disadvantage of a long shank, which a fish can lever to its advantage and throw out. Plus it makes it hard to throw. And once this is hooked, fish has nothing to fight or and lever against. So it's a very effective pattern, not only for steelhead where it was designed, but big northerns and brookies like we have here. And big flies, big fish. What a magnificent fish. And that fish was sitting in about 12 inches of water. Just came up and ate the leech as I was preparing it to cast, getting it wet so it would sink right away.
Listen as Ken Collins shows us the proper casting technique for large flies.
I call it the flop.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna have your amount of line out on this sink tip that we want, wherever it's capable of, and you're always gonna strip to the knot. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Hear that?
Yeah.
You're gonna strip to that knot with this rig, okay? And at that point, normally it would be out here.
Okay.
We're just gonna roll it over, flop, and then descend it. You don't even need to haul.
Good. Okay.
Okay, and then it's out. And then you're just gonna do the stripping gig into your bay, the little basket up here. Strip, 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 strip. We'll talk about it as we're going and some of the objectives, and you can see how sometimes I can add a little elbow dug here, same way as and that'll also help get a bigger S going. So again, you're done to the knot, flop. Pinch it off and just throw it. I want that arc to be so pronounced. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a fairly good size split shot and putting it on the nose of this tube fly. Okay? And what that's going to do is it's just going to give it one more step of jigging action that we're just going to like. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go back to that hook set. So what'll happen when the fish comes up, it's going to just totally take that whole fly and it's going to disappear. And when it does, what we need to do is we need to not lift the rod. Big mistake. Doing a regular hook set like you do for trout or some other species, over. Game's over right away. So what you got to do is you got to keep stripping, Bill, until you actually feel the weight of that fish.
So it's important to feel the weight first before you do anything.
Absolutely.
So now you see the fish, it can excite you. You don't want to be too premature. You want to wait till you feel it.
That's right. And once you feel that weight, I want you to strip even a little more.
Okay.
And when you strip, and all of a sudden you just can't go anymore. It's just taut.
Like you're stuck.
Oh, and your rod tip's going to stay right there, right down in the water. And all of a sudden everything's just going to be rock and roll loaded. Okay. And then at that point, you're just going to go, because he's going to turn. At that point where he feels that much pressure on his mouth, he's going to turn.
Right.
And when he turns, we go crank with a side hook set.
It's a side hook, it's a sweeping side.
Sweeping side
Not
set.
up. We don't want up.
Boom. And what that does is it slides the hook out of the front palate of the mouth.
Into the
back into the corner where the meat's good.
Oh, that's what.
And that holds on to them
That's a
real
good
good.
tip. That's a good.
Right?
This,
And that hook
This.
is awesome. You want to do that again? Everybody likes that part. They want me to do it with a real hook though.
Put the real hook in there.
So yeah, so what happens is the fish clamps down and the hook's just sitting on the mouthy parts, on the top palate, which is all teeth. Hopefully we get to show you that. And what we want is that hook to slide back and get into there. So that's why it's important to slide set. And that.
This is a typical saltwater set.
Agreed.
So if you learn this, you can go down and fish a saltwater.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna dance, he's gonna dance. It's actually a northern.
it's a northern. I was going to say it's a pike. It's a pike. Well, it's in the same family. Oh, he definitely committed himself.
Just gonna let this swing, guys. I'm getting you some good sunlighting, I hope. But I can't drop anchor till I get here.
Now he's definitely hooked though.
Yeah. Oh, he's only on the tongue, but you got him.
I got him. Oh yeah. Now
It's a northern. Look at that. You son of a gun.
you got him, buddy.
Got him.
There's what Ontario has.
Oh, they're nice.
Fly caught pike. We were actually after a muskie, but that's okay. Great fight. Great fight.
I'm all wet.
Just letting him get some water and some oxygen. He gave us a tussle there. He's had a lot more hook pressure than come on, buddy. There we go. Come on.
Yep.
Kill it.
There he goes. Excellent. Excellent. A bonus when you're smallmouth fishing, there is pike and muskie around. Oh, well, I'm going to try that again. Now, we had a muskie first take a swipe at it and he missed. And as it began to bring the fly back, a pike came and took it. So anything can happen. This is great. This is wonderful. Oh, wow. And again, overhanging trees and banks. If you can, camera will get a shot of that. This is where we're taking them, and I'm casting as close as I can to the bank.
For more information on this show and others in our series, visit us on the web at thenewflyfisher.com. From all of us here at The New Fly Fisher, thanks for joining us, tight lines, and we'll see you next week.
What a nice fish.
Look at the size of that smallmouth, folks.